Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Peter and this is Tech Suvara. Today we're going to run through our game design document. Let's get straight into it. So here I am. I've got a blank document open here and we're going to jump in and draw up our game design. So basically the idea of this document is to present the idea, the general premise of the game, the different kind of logic functions, and then fill in with all the details of how one thing will lead to another and how we can kind of progress throughout the game. And it'll also detail some of the core behavior and the core gameplay that we want to emphasize and the kind of experience that you want to emphasize for the player. So guys, let's get right into it. Well, here we are. We've got our design document, skeleton design document that we spent a little bit of time putting together over the last few days. Just kind of like running through 3 pages to start. We have our general layout, and some of the most important things are to define exactly, in the game design is what's the premise, and in this case, it's really through. Basically, we want through an emotive story and quick, engaging gameplay. The player will slowly be introduced into the world of they. So really, that's it. That's what we want to achieve through this game. We want to make it an emotive story. We want to make it quick and engaging, so the player continues to come back and tries to discover what this world is about, what the story is about, who these people are about. And I think we want to add here, upon completion, the player will have a greater sense of appreciation for family and friendship. For family, I think families, because that's kind of part of the story. So we have the introduction, which just kind of goes through the story and just a quick summary of everything. We have the backstory of this. We don't really want to go too deep into the world building yet, because the game itself will be part of the world building. The game design is really, there'll be a separate document that's part of the actual story, which and the game itself, which will go through exactly all the details of things related to this world. So we want to just kind of create a backstory of what's going on and why the player is where they are, with a kind of sense of purpose and logic behind it. So you want to define what it is that they do in a way that makes the story somewhat believable and relatable. If you don't have a relatable story, it's kind of like it doesn't make much sense to do much, right? Because you don't, it's like games are partially what they are because they're in another world and somewhat unbelievable in a sense. Especially if you have an RPG that's otherworldly, but the actual characters inside the world, that they will need to have something that's relatable to them, right? So we kind of define that here. And then we go into the gameplay system. So game design generally defines 3 levels. We define 3 levels here of the gameplay. We have the player, a bit more details about how the player interacts in the world, what the player is defined by. There's more to fill in. Obviously here, there's play modes. We'll have 3 different play modes. So essentially you have like an at ease mode, a combat mode, and silent mode. So the idea here is that we really want it to be focused on a tap swipe play, right? There's no buttons on a phone. There's no buttons on there's no buttons on the interactive gameplay. And I've seen too many games that really try too hard to provide a kind of platformer or video game experience that's based on the old style of buttons, which I think is somewhat dated, and you don't need to do that. Let's explore something different. So we want to try and explore something different in this case. We have the controls which define that, and then we go to the movement, how the player will move around in the world. And I haven't really gone into this part yet. I have an idea of how combat will work, but I just haven't written it out. So we have enemies. We can define that as things that you face during the game. We have combat, puzzles, game progression. So we'll essentially have 9 levels. What was it? I think 9. I think I wrote 9. Was it 6? 6 levels down and then 6 levels up. So you go, yeah, no, 9 levels down, 9 levels up. So there's 18 segments that you go through every time you kind of go further down. So the idea is that it will be randomly generated to the point where you won't play the same location every time, but the same core story elements and the same core puzzles to get through each section will be the same. We have items, definitions, and really, that's it. That's what a game design document is. With game progression and levels, one of the important things here is player progression, right? So we do want to create a table here that will define everything that the player goes through in each level. That's what we want to achieve here. So the levels section will talk about a little bit about what we do there. Let's see. We want to make this 9 elements. Each of these elements here in this section, we're going to even make it its own page. We want to describe here, actually we'll probably need 10 because we need the headings, obviously. So we want to define the items, well, actually enemies, level, let's see, level graph, we'll call it level graph here, level chart. Enemies, the range of enemies, so, and then we'll have the items. We want to grade, basically here we want to grade everything. We want to grade it based on a certain level. And we want to provide a range of things. So if we have 9 levels, when we go up and down, so there's 18 in total, we kind of want to make that multiple of 5, right? So then you kind of have a range of things that can happen, and especially since it's a rogue style game, it should balance out over a certain period. So you're never overwhelmed with enemies, or you're never overwhelmed with being in a situation that you can't complete. So that, obviously there'll be certain things that we place in the game that will be very specific that you can't avoid. And then will be items to, I guess, get around that. Puzzles that necessarily might need some information. The information we presented to the player before they get to it. So there are some, I guess, gates. We'll call them gameplay gates. So this game is going to be, I guess, in terms of pricing in that, we want to make it premium. I'm really over the whole freemium concept. I think it takes away from the experience of the game. It doesn't make for an engaging story because you're not there to, the grind aspect of it is such a bore. I would rather play once and get something out of the actual experience than, keep paying. And then, it's not a casino. I'm not making a casino. That's what I'm trying to say. So we're not trying to get this game to be a casino. We're trying to get this game to be a story. We have enemies, items. We can kind of give that a range. So we have spell items, armor weapons, things like that. And then we'd have, say, we'd have a range of puzzles, so puzzle rooms. We'd want to give that a range too. I think that's sort of it, right? So I don't think you want it linear either. We don't want a linear progression here. We want, kind of like a, make it harder and then make it a bit easier. So it is kind of like a wave of experiences. It's not all straight away. It's not like linear progression. You don't expect the next level to be harder, right? Let's make it more interesting than that. And these things, because it's a rogue style game, a lot of this will be randomly generated, so we want to make those ranges accessible. I think for now, that would be it. So really, this is the skeleton. I'm gonna continue working on this. I think in the next video, I'll start also working on the tech design document, which will kind of explain to us how this is going to be expressed within the scope of the technology that we're going to use. So one of the principles with a game design document is that it can be taken and used and expressed with any technology. You can make it a AAA 3D game, or you can make it a 2D game, or you can make it a text game. The idea is that the technology and the experience is not limiting the game design. I don't think the data behind games like even Baldur's Gate 3 is limited by technology from 15 years ago, right? It's the graphics, the collisions, the other things that make it require it to be run on high-end machines. So anyway, okay guys, I'm gonna get back into this. We'll talk a little bit later. So guys, we've gone through a little bit of what a game design document looks like. I'm going to continue working on it, growing it, and then start on the tech design document that will kind of be influenced by the game design document. So although we want to limit the impact the tech design document has on the game design, they kind of do feed into each other, and they'll evolve together, right? So something in the game design document might change, which will impact the tech design. Something in the tech design document will, there'll be something from the tech design that comes out that will, influence the game design. And the next thing after that is the art style guide, which we'll look at. But it's not something that is really critical to get the ball rolling. So we can actually start using like a, programmer art to try and put together some of the gameplay ideas and express that, and start building a rendering engine and the tooling and all that. And then once we get an idea of what the game feels like, we can start building assets and start putting them in. So that will kind of come from the art style guide. So guys, thanks for joining me in this episode and sharing this first step in as we kind of dig in and create our game. And I look forward to seeing you at the next one. Bye.